Okay, space detectives, YouTubers, pareidolia police, and quasi-scientific people who deny everything to do with Mars, especially when it's to do with possible life on the planet. Yes, you're all welcome. I've got a couple of things to look at today. Real quick one. There's this weird image here, which is supposedly just a dust avalanche on the surface of Mars. This was taken by the MRO, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. This is a very recent image, and there's a big sort of TIFF image you can download, or JPEG, which isn't bad. I'll quickly show you that in a minute. It's kind of interesting, I thought. Very dark. It looks like it's almost water that's kind of melted here and then caused a landslide, perhaps, or is it just very dark dust? I don't know. There is an explanation here, but the main thing we're looking at today is this. This is an image from Sol 689. Now, I may have showed one or two of these before, very briefly in previous videos ages ago, but I don't think I actually did a specific video about these finds. There's two or three things in this image. There's this thing here on the right, near the bottom, and there's another thing over here on the left, near the bottom, okay? And it's not a terrible quality image. It's a bit dark. The shadow is obscuring some of the detail. I'll show you actually the raw image here. I've got the folder here, and I'll show you the raw image first. So this one, and I'll zoom in and show you what I mean. You've got the usual kind of debris and pebbles and sort of rocks lying around on the surface. Then you have this rather strange thing here, okay, on the right, and on the left over here you've got this thing here, okay? Now, these aren't very clear until you enlarge the image and stuff it full of pixels so that you can zoom in. If you don't do that, then you're going to get a lot of pixelation like this. But you can, even with that, you can see here that there's a chin here with a mouth, two eyes, and some kind of weird hat or helmet, okay? This is a statue. It looks like a statue. It may not be, but it looks like one to me. And this thing looks a bit like some kind of ape cranium here. Very odd indeed, but that's a bit unclear, and there is some image damage here. Now, this is the BR2 version of the image, which is actually only compressed 5%, so you can see some detail. Let's get on with it. Let's show you the actual finished item I've got here to save time. And we've got the one on the right, which is this really weird shaped thing. It's got a kind of helmet coming around like that, which kind of goes up like a cone head shape. And you've got a mouth here, and you've got an eye there, and another eye there, okay? Now, this dude doesn't look very happy, right? In fact, looks downright fed up. Yeah, really, really strange. And even in the raw image, you can see the chin here. I'll point it out on here actually. Let's zoom in a bit, because it does pixelate a bit, but if you get the distance just right, you can sort of see stuff. You've got a chin here that comes around. Got a nose, a small puggish nose, like many of the Martians I have found seem to have. Small little puggish noses. And there's an eye there, and an eye there. Now, it's pretty vague, I know. It's a low-res image, it's in shadow. That's to be expected when you get an image in shadow. The shadow kills a lot of the detail because you lose definition. But it's there, and you can actually see the details in the raw image. I haven't added any detail to this. It's a real basic enhancement. I've color corrected it, brightened it up. It's gone a bit bluer, but you can still see that green chin in the raw image here. So it's definitely there. The question is it a statue? Is it something else? Is it an actual mummified specimen? Probably not, but we don't really know. It's impossible to say because there isn't really enough detail in the image, as is often the case with these things, to actually tell either way. There's a rather weird straight kind of part to it here as well, which is really, I've only just noticed that, and it's got these kind of dots in it, almost as if the rover has kind of fired its laser at it. The rover, when it takes samples, often it would do a drill sample and it would fire its laser into the ground, and then it will read the light reading in the spectrometer. Okay, and then determine what sort of material things are from the light reading and the spectrometer readings, right? We've got an onboard sort of science lab, and I'm not saying these are laser holes here, but they're all in a straight line, just here. Let's zoom in a bit. It's really, I've only really just noticed that. It's really interesting. Just there, you can see it there, 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5. They normally do 6 or 7 when they do the laser holes. Then you get them in like a straight line, and they're quite small, so that is possible. But there we have it. I mean, you can see what I'm saying here. It doesn't look like just a normal rock because it has. There's even teeth detail here. Now, if this was a statue, the teeth there, look, they're very crooked. But many of the Martian specimens I found have very bad sort of teeth by the looks of it, quite big, sort of primitive kind of bad dental work, I would say. When I say primitive, I mean it's just very uneven and quite rough, a lot of their dental work. But you can see those teeth there. If you look there, you've got these shadows coming down. There's a shadow there, there's another one there, and you can see the teeth in between. It's pretty dark, but it's there. In fact, I'll brighten this up a bit for you very quickly right now, just to prove that I'm not making this. This is completely raw, this image here, on the right. Let's brighten that right up and see what we can see in the raw image. It should start to pop out. There we are. You can see those teeth there. All right, you can see the eyes. See the puggish nose there. Okay. So it's there. I haven't put it there. No doubt the pareidolia police will crucify me for even suggesting there might be things like this on Mars, even though I've got probably about 1,000 statues, remains, buildings, and artifacts on the surface now on my channel, probably over 1,000. But that isn't enough for some people. So there we are. So it's a bit like banging your head against a brick wall, really. But of course, I'm not doing it for the pareidolia police. I'm doing it for people who are interested in archaeology and trying to put together what actually happened on the surface of Gale Crater and other parts of Mars. Piecing together the jigsaw pieces, working in reverse, as you have to do from this end of the solar system where we are now on Earth. Of course, if we had people there digging up these things and taking samples, we could verify many of the finds that I and others have found quite easily. But of course, NASA refused to even admit that these things are there and won't take the rover back to take samples, and we probably will never get any until maybe someone at NASA is removed, or a few people that are restricting NASA, that don't work for NASA and work for one of the other letter agencies, perhaps when they're gotten rid of eventually in the US. We might actually get some real stuff going on, and some real answers and some real data and real samples. And of course, they would have to be brought back to Earth, but it is possible for the 2020 rover or the newer rovers that go up there to take DNA samples. So it would be possible to extract DNA from some of these by drilling into a tooth, which is the usual method used on Earth when taking DNA from old, very, very old skulls and fossils and that kind of thing. Okay, now this looks like an ape, one of probably 20 I've found so far on the surface. It's very, very distorted and unclear, this image, also in shadow. There's also a rock to the side of it here. Okay, this is the head here. At least it looks like one to me, okay? And there's a rock beside it which is kind of distorting it a bit. You can see 2 brow ridges, very pronounced ape-like brow ridges. There's an eye here, an eye here. There's a nose with nostrils here, okay? kind of squarish looking, almost. There's a mouth with teeth showing. There's the white teeth there. Okay. There's the mouth. There's the lower lip there. Okay. You got what seems to be an ear here, sticking out, and we've got hair. This is a mummy. This isn't a carving. You can actually see the fuzzy effect in the hair. I know this is a low-res image and it's a bit distorted, but to me, having found so many of these, this actually looks like a specimen. You can actually see, once you know it's there, you can see those brow ridges quite clearly and tufts of hair sticking up here, all right? What I will do, I'll see if I can enhance these more. Let's brighten that up as well a bit more because it's quite dark. Right, it's had a bit of contrast back into it now. It's really hard with these because they are quite low res, and you've just got to really play around with the contrast once you've enlarged it to get the image to pop and some of the shadows to show. I mean, to me, the mouth looks pretty obvious there. It's kind of open with teeth showing like that. All right? And you've got the nose sticking out here with a clear nostril there and one there. And the eyes, okay? Thick brow ridges like you'd expect to see like on the chimp or similar primate. Now I have found chimp craniums, actual skulls, as well as what look like heads lying around and remains and that kind of thing. But I'm still very perplexed by the distinct lack of torsos and bodies and other body parts. We only ever seem to get the heads lying or sitting on the sand like we've got here. Now, is it possible that it's buried in a sitting position? Yes. Is it possible that it's just a head that's been removed and placed there? Yes. Is it possible that the wind has just eroded away and hasn't eroded away enough to show the rest of the body? Yes. Take your pick. I can't prove it either way until someone actually does a proper excavation of these areas and digs these areas properly. We will never know. Unless the rover, we were set to send another rover to the same area in, say, a few years' time to see if the erosion has revealed any more detail and other parts. Or perhaps if the rover went back to some of these areas and took photographs and did some real close-up images of these things, okay? Because it would be possible to determine that what these actually are if we had real good close-up images. But we rarely get those of anything interesting, okay? So there we are. We got what looks like another ape cranium here, or a head, I should say. This one looks like it's got hair. And we have this really strange looking thing. Now, if this is mummified, could this be mummified also? Or are they both carved? I don't know. To me, the ape looks more like a mummified specimen, and this looks more like a carved specimen. But it might not be. The helmet could actually be a helmet, a very pitted bit of some sort of metal alloy, don't know what it is. With that weird straight part to it there, which is rather odd. So, answers on the postcard as usual, guys. Leave your comments below, let me know what you think. Yet another two very strange things to add to the collection. There are a couple of other things in the image. I'll go through this whole set again and see what else I can find. If I find anything else like this, I will put it in a minute at the end of the video. But quickly, before I do that, I want to let you all know I'm doing a roll call because basically I had my Google account hacked about a week ago. And so what I've done is I had my Google Wallet robbed. Luckily, there wasn't much money in my account linking to that, so that wasn't too much. And basically, I got a load of emails from Google, and it was from Google, not from some phishing scam, saying that your account has been accessed. Please check your security and all this kind of stuff. It's a bit of a long story, but basically you may have seen one of my previous videos where I said that my account had been hacked. There's the video there, Google Wallet and YouTube accounts hacked, that's called. And incidentally, what's really interesting is that this video seems to have been censored. it did a sort of almost 1,000 views in the first couple of days, and now it's not getting any views. It's getting like 2 a day. So they obviously didn't want this to get out, and that made me a bit worried about things, because it looks like somebody or something is skimming my account and trying to skim my views and all sorts of weird stuff going on with my YouTube channel. So what I've done, just in case things go bad, I mean, this may change, it may be fine. I've been in contact with them a lot recently, and they may sort it out, but they're denying a lot of things are even going wrong when they blatantly are, so we'll see. But basically what I've done is I've created an emergency kind of backup channel, which is called Space Detective 1. And if you want to find this channel, you may not be able to find it yet because it's so new. What I've done is I put a link to it on my ArtAlienTV channel here, right at the top of the featured channels lists. Okay, there's a list of, you've got Mars Anomalies and Martian Archaeology there, Bruce Sees All and all that down here. And at the top I put Space Detective 1, okay? As I've been using the term Space Detectives and Space Detective for a year or two now, I thought that would be a good idea for the name. And what I've done on this channel is I've basically just today uploaded about 6 or 7 videos here. Some of them haven't hardly been viewed yet. Okay, so if you could come along and subscribe, what I'm going to try and do is get this up to 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of weeks, so that I can then monetize this account and then use it as a backup channel. What I'm going to do is put all my best videos on here. I'm not going to put everything on here, but I'm starting to upload some of my favorite videos from the last few years, going right back. But I will, at some point in the near future, start putting new videos on here as well, but none of them will be full HD. This channel will not be full HD. The videos on this will only be 720p, which is perfectly good for watching on a mobile device. But my main channel will still be ArtAlienTV. I'm not going to stop adding stuff to this. This will still be my main channel. But this is just a backup in case things go wrong. I've got a feeling that I may have been singled out by the people at YouTube, perhaps, for some sort of censorship or something. There's something very strange going on with the figures, and people are getting unsubscribed multiple times. I've asked them about this multiple times, and they've refused to answer why multiple times. So very odd. They won't answer. They won't give me a straight answer. Much like NASA, of course. This is what happens when you get massive corporations that have too much power. They basically do what the hell they like, and they hold most of the cards, and it's very difficult to get a straight answer out of them, and they become like a leviathan that is uncontrollable, really. So there we are. So please come along. What I've done is I've linked a load of playlists from ArtAlienTV to this page, so a lot of it will look familiar to you. But do come along and subscribe, because I can't monetize this channel until it gets over 1,000 subscribers and about 4,000 hours viewing time. So that's going to take me a while. So, but what I'll be doing is over the next couple of months is uploading some videos every day to this channel, and eventually I will be uploading the odd new video as well. So when what I'll do is I'll upload my new channel videos, my ArtAlienTV videos to ArtAlienTV like I normally do, but what I will do with some of them is upload a smaller version of the video to my backup channel as well, just in case things go down, okay? So please do that if you can. It would really help me out. There's some really strange stuff going on with YouTube at the moment, and the fact that they seem to have censored the video about my YouTube account being hacked says to me that there's something else going on as well. That just may be their algorithm doing that. I think some of the algorithms have been updated in the last month or two, and I'm, as usual, one of the first to get the shit end of the wedge here. You know what I mean? So please do that. Like I said, there's a link on my ArtAlienTV channel to the Space Detective channel. I'll put a link in the description below as well, or you can come to my About page. There's also a link to it there, okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. I didn't really have time to look at this. Let's have a quick look at that now, just very quickly. Have a look at that. I'll put a link to it anyway. It's pretty interesting. And there's a slope here and all this kind of dark material slid down. Now we're looking down from the MRO, which is obviously a satellite, so we're probably almost looking straight down on the surface. But this is probably quite a long way up here, and it's kind of slid down. All this dark, very dark black sort of sand. Is it sand or is it liquid? Is it possible that there was loads of permafrost here that just melted and it just kind of flooded out? Or is it coming from underground? Don't know. So I'll leave links to that as well. I thought that might be a little bit interesting for some of you to have a look at. It's vaguely interesting. There are lots of similar images to Mars, but this was a particularly dark one, I thought. They're not usually as dark as that, these big stains or landslides or whatever. So there we are. Clips coming up in a minute. Thanks for watching, everybody. As I said, please subscribe to my emergency channel, Space Detective 1, if you can, and watch a couple of videos. Some of you may not have seen some of these videos. I've uploaded a bunch from 2014, but I will be adding newer ones as well, but I'm only putting on here my favourites. I'm not going to just chuck everything on here, it's just going to be favourites, okay? And of course, there's a load of my ArtAlienTV stuff more in these playlists anyway, so you can watch other stuff as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.